Oh man, I'm out of. I'm not appropriately dressed for YouTube and chill, am I? It's Friday. It's Friday, and it's time to YouTube and chill. Are you ready to chill on YouTube with me? And you know what we talk about on Fridays on YouTube and chill? We talk about sex. Yeah, the thing that touches everyone. Because if it wasn't for sex, none of us would be here. So that's how we chill on Fridays. That's how we YouTube it up. YouTube and chill on Fridays. And we talk about sex. And today is going to be a good one. Not your typical, let's talk about sex. Yes, it is. Hey, what's going on? Alexander. What's going on? Yes. YouTube and chill. And we are going to once again talk about sex. We are going to get down into something that many may claim to not be in, and some of you may be into it and don't tell a soul. And your secrets will be safe here on YouTube and chill. But we are going to open up the doors of sex. And we're going to open up a world where maybe most of us dare not venture, but I'm going to open it up. And we are going to talk about this world within sex. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for joining. See you coming in the house. Good to see you here on YouTube and chill. Lando, what's going on, Lando? How you doing, man? PJ, what's up? Exactly, it's biology. Yeah, Alexandra, your secrets are safe. We're going to open up something very special. We're going to open up something special in here today on YouTube and chill. This may be more than chilling today because this world of BDSM, it used to be just S&M, but I guess they added some stuff to it with the B and a D. We thought it was all inclusive with S&M. Everyone knew that. But we are going to get down, get into this whole world of BDSM. So like the video when you come in and share this. For all the people you know who may be a little bit shy and squeamish about talking about sex, about thinking about BDSM, share this video with them. Get them over here. Get them over here so we can spank them. That's what we do in BDSM anyway, right? So share this video with everyone you know, especially those who are a little squeamish around sex, especially those taboo topics. And BDSM has become more popular that you might want to introduce it to someone. Introduce them to YouTube and chill so that we can get them in here and spank them in the world of sex and give them a whole new look and feel. They will. We want to get them addicted to some YouTube and chill. So share the video, like it as you come in. Hit the like, guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe and hit the bell. I think YouTube has been knocking out subscribers for a lot of content providers. So if you're not getting my notifications, make sure you hit the bell so that you can get all of my notifications for all of my shows. Yeah, this is caveman world, BDSM. This is definitely the world of cavemen. So, and all those ladies who you think are afraid of cavemen, they're probably the #1 women who want a caveman. So share it with them so they can come in. I can just grab them by the hair, grab her, drag her into the cave. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the definitely the divine masculine. Definitely. This is definitely the world. BDSM is where masculinity shows up full force. Yeah, some women like that hot candle sprinkled on them. Let the degeneracy rain upon us. Let it pour. Look, lots of women like it rough. They just secretly, they may even dress all prissy. And sometimes some like it like that all the time. And some, just some of the time. But today we're giving it caveman style. This is where the caveman gets to release the Kraken. Release it. We got something for you. And I see you in there. I'm watching you. And along with BDSM, you guys know I'm going to share something special with you in a matter of seconds. Because, you know, I can't be BDSM in it by myself. So, like the video if you haven't, subscribe. In my description, and I already put in the chat my PayPal and my Cash App account. Your donations are always appreciated. The support allows me to continue to provide content and grow and bring you guys more of what you want. My commitment is to actually be a good listener and understand what men are really looking for and talk about the things that people normally don't talk about. And then the things people do talk about, let's talk about it in a way that no one has so far. So we're going to make it rain degeneracy today. We're going to release the Kraken in the world of BDSM. And all those little conservative ladies and the guys, with those ladies who you think are conservative and squeamish and I don't talk to, bring them in here. Because we're going to spank them. And they're going to leave with a smile on their face today. So you guys ready? You ready for me to start this up? You guys want a guest. So you don't like seeing me do this alone. What are you guys trying to tell me? What are you telling me? Ted Santos is not enough? I need to bring some... I need to bring a guest in here so we can have true BDSM, right? Squirt in the rain. Yeah, we can talk about squirting. And we'll tell her it's not pee, don't worry. She'll be okay. Hey, Toya. Thanks for joining. I see you in there. So what do we have? Do we have a guest? Look what we have here. Oh my. Were we ready for this, guys? The sun is shining. But this is a new kind of sun. Look at that. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing
I
pretty
know how you do that. How you doing?
good. That's Jersey style. Actually, I think we just went to the Himalayas, guys.
Oh, goodness. Why
You
are
guys,
you staring like that?
huh?
Why are you just sitting there staring at me like that?
I've wondered once if I ever wanted to climb the Himalayas. Today, I do know I want to climb the Himalayas.
What?
I do.
No.
You know, the Himalayas are snow topped, and I see them.
Oh my. Oh God.
I see the snow topped Himalayas. They told me it was just one mountain. I didn't know it was twin mountains,
No.
snow topped.
Listen, I am having a bad day. I just got back from the gym. I'm running late. You gave me no time to get ready. So, but thank you for the compliment because I just had to, rush to get myself together. So, thank you for giving me no time.
You well. I love doing that to you.
And I know you do. I can tell every week, huh?
Mm, yeah.
Just once a week. You love it.
No, I actually need it more, but I'll take it once a week.
Yeah, I don't have all that to give to you. I can't give it to you more than once a week.
Really?
Yeah. You're
Well,
too much for me.
you know what that means? I have to make up for the rest of the week then.
Okay. Well, you're too much for me. So I, might have to bring in someone else.
Mm.
Segue into this topic, into BDSM, which I have no clue about. I don't.
I don't mind teaching you.
I'm not even into BDSM. It's not something
Well, you might be after today.
at least I don't want to get tied up. I kind of would like to tie somebody up, but I don't want to be tied up.
How could a woman not be in a BDSM if she really, truly loves masculinity? I mean, masculinity comes packed with BDSM, whether you like it or not.
No, it does not.
Oh, yeah,
BDSM.
it does.
No. Masculinity has absolutely nothing to do with BDSM, which deals in a realm of subservience.
It deals in a realm of someone being dominant and someone being submissive.
It's more than submission with BDSM. That person has to actually be subservient.
No, no.
Because
So,
a master,
do you understand that role playing is a form of BDSM?
yes, I do understand that, but do you understand that there is a master? So the dominant person is the master or the mistress. They are in total control. You have absolutely no say.
And any woman who appreciates masculinity will get that.
Yeah, no, has absolutely nothing to do with
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Because men and women are not equal when it comes to sex. There is no any man who understands the essence of his masculinity is going to dominate a woman sexually, and there's nothing she can do about it. Except
Dominating a woman, dominating a woman and putting her in a position to be subservient is not the same.
once a man penetrates a woman, she's in a subservient position.
She's in a submissive position. That's completely different.
It doesn't matter to the guy. It doesn't matter because
Yeah.
she's going to have the same power when the essence of masculinity asserts itself.
Okay. I mean, you borderline talking about rape now. sounds like sounds like a rape fantasy for them ladies that said they
Well,
wanted.
I was gonna say we maybe we need to do a show on that. If we could get women to call in and say they actually have that fantasy.
Yeah.
Because women who like rough sex, I mean, that is a form of a man truly asserting his masculinity. And it doesn't have to hurt the woman. And if he's still interested in pleasing her, he still has to be in
But
tune
you know
with
what? I can't really speak on it because it's not my thing. It's not something that I would be into. I'm not into sex kink. So.
Okay, SW, I got you. SW is going to work. He said he wants to watch the replay, but he came in and peeked in and said I'll be back.
Nah. Oh no, I haven't even had a chance to eat anything.
Some guys like their women on top.
Some guys like their woman in front.
Yeah, barking like a dog or howling like a wolf. Oh,
Y'all sick. Y'all sick. I'm just gonna put it. Y'all sick. You gotta bark like a big dog, Ted. Big dog. With some bass in that voice. Okay. Okay, so I was not able to read the article that you sent me. It won't open for some reason.
I'll read. Yeah, don't worry. You know I can get things to open, so.
Can you now?
I sure can.
We shall see.
So, well, look at that. I have a Cash App from Judith. So thank you, Judith, for your $20 Cash App. Looks like Judith wants to hear about some BDSM today.
No.
We got a lady that wants to hear about a little bit of dominance from a man. See, women can't be afraid of male dominance. Choose wisely. You can have a man who cares for you greatly.
Yes, you can. And I can have all of that without.
And still completely assert his manhood and his dominance, and you are taken care of. If you resisted, you could miss out on tons of pleasure.
Listen, I can have all of that without engaging in BDSM.
Well, you know, it comes in levels. Your whole thing about dressing up like a bunny, that's part of it. So clearly you do want it.
That's not BDSM.
That's still levels of it.
Fetish. That's a fetish.
And fetishes are part of BDSM. It's all part of it.
I don't want you to dress up like a bunny, but I would like to tie you up one day.
See, that's BDSM. See, you are into it. You're just a closet.
I'm not into BDSM. I just want to tie you up.
Look,
I didn't I want to do with you while you're tied up. I just want to tie you up one day.
Guys, there are a bunch of closet women like Letitia who like BDSM and they're afraid to say it. They're afraid to tarnish their reputation.
No, listen, because I don't like all that spanking and all. I'm good. And
there's so many ways to express it. That's why when I said the essence of manhood really is BDSM, if a man is asserting his masculine dominance, it doesn't have to be like harming or hitting. He could be holding down both your hands and grinding that body down to a little pebble.
That's not BDSM. BDSM
it is asserting his force. It is. See, you're only thinking of it as being tied up with a leather mask on and all that stuff.
No, that's sadomasochism. BDSM deals with a dominant and submission subservient role.
I understand, but when you understand it, even holding a woman's hands down is actually constraining her, and that is part of it.
That's okay.
Restraint
is part of BDSM.
Exactly, any kind of restraint.
Regular sex, you're just holding her arms because it's easier for you to get a grip. You know what I'm saying? Get into position.
No,
that's not.
It is a way for a man to assert his dominance, and there's nothing. If he has force, if he has power, he's gonna hold you down, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Not every man is engaging in BDSM just because you want to change the standard definition of what that sex act is.
I'm saying that
rough, forceful sex does not equate to BDSM.
Sounds like you're a closet.
I'm not closet. I'm not anything.
You're trying to make sure no one can associate you with that. You're trying to get. That's why you're dressed in white today to look all innocent. Like I don't
Not.
I don't do that.
You are never ever going to associate me with BDSM, unless the fact that I did watch 50 Shades of Grey and I did read the book.
Why didn't you dress in black leather today?
Oh no, that dress would have been too much for y'all. Y'all
No,
would
it
have
been perfect for this. I don't know why you didn't do that.
What? I think it would have been no. They would have had to shut this YouTube channel down if I'd put on that black dress, that black leather dress.
All right, we have a few minutes. We can wait. We can actually watch you change.
You want? No, you're not watching me change. What I look like? They really shut it down. This isn't a voyeur channel. No, they would trust me when I say if I put on that black dress, they would shut this channel down.
Really?
Yes.
Maybe you'd be very popular though.
Yeah, I don't want to be popular that way. I'm not a porn star. I'm not into, so.
Well, don't you have to have sex to do porn? This isn't OnlyFans.
Well, that's what you're trying to turn it into, because that's what I was just about to say. I'm like, you're trying to turn your YouTube chill into OnlyFans and chill.
I don't know if those ladies chill, but
they chill. They do all types of things on there, I guess. I mean, I've never been on there. I'm just finding out about it not too long ago. But I'm hearing that people are just up there rubbing their feet, showing off their feet, doing things that
I think even
lots of men are into the weirdest things, and they will pay to see the weirdest things. Oh, now see, that's how I like you, just like that. Oh my gosh, that's how I like you. See,
this isn't appropriate for a BDSM.
Ted, are you trying to tell everyone something about yourself that we may have not known previously?
What would you like to know?
Everything.
Hey, Lisa. Yeah, don't worry. This party, we didn't even get it started yet. So
yeah, because Ted needs to tell us all about his little BDSM secret, since he's claiming I'm in a closet. Why did you pick such a topic?
We're here to talk about sex, but PJ is saying something interesting. He said, he's saying,
I recently did a research on vagina.
Right.
Women's vagina is supposed to be less sensitive because it's for childbirth. If it were to be sensitive, there will be too much pain during both to the point of death. The woman's sexual organ is therefore the clitoris. So Letitia is right about women not usually getting orgasm during intercourse.
But see, the only challenge I have with that is when you go into countries that have a different culture towards or attitude towards sex, those women do not have any problem at all climaxing, like zero. And not just from the clitoris, they have vaginal climaxes. I had to put my finger up to get it.
Put that finger down. Put that finger down. No. Stop.
Lisa, don't cover your eyes. We're here to talk about sex. YouTube and chill, we normally talk about sex. And we're talking about BDSM.
So I have vaginal orgasms. And they are much more, I like them not that they're much more intense than clitoral orgasms. I just feel fulfilled when I have a vaginal orgasm.
So here's the question. Here's the question in the context of today's topic. Can the excitement and the pleasure be intensified if you have any extra added sense of pain to the sexual activity, right? So it could be anything from being penetrated so deep that it hurts, and it's pleasurable at the same time, or being bitten on your nipples, in anything. Can you get more additional excitement and arousal through any kind of pain during sexual intercourse?
I would believe so. That's why when people engage in it.
So then you are into BDSM and don't know it.
I am not into BDSM according to the BDSM definition. You know, you're such a typical Capricorn. I know that people love to try to put everything into a certain box, but it doesn't. No, that does not rise to the occasion.
I'm not trying to put everything into a box. Okay?
Because a woman may.
Yeah, I don't want to put everything into the box.
You want to put your everything into a box?
Well, no, I didn't say. I said everything. What? Yeah, my everything is a different conversation.
I swear, now I don't even know what I was saying. I don't even know where to go with this. No,
put everything in the box. That's all I remember.
Just because a woman desires to be stimulated, this does not rise to the level of BDSM. It doesn't.
It is the stepping into the doorway, because when you include, yes. Why are people ashamed to say that they engage in a little bit of that? So, it's interesting. This woman wrote an article, and it's very interesting. I'm going to assert this woman is a staunch feminist. And she wrote an article called 3 Reasons Why 50 Shades is More About Emotional Abuse Than BDSM. And I just think this is what you and I talked about, how this is a Puritan culture, right? So if people are into BDSM, whether I'm into it or you're into it or not, it kind of doesn't matter. But when you kind of shame people for being into that in the privacy of their own bedroom, like, why? I mean, I'm not going to read not even half the article, but she starts off saying 50 Shades of Grey is known for a lot of things. It's basically a Twilight fan flick about BDSM sex that's sold millions of copies worldwide. And she asks, is it the emotionally disturbed, two-dimensional character somehow both formulaic and unrealistic? Is it the cheesy dialogue, the over-the-top drama, the poorly written storyline? Is it the constant nudity, or is it the all too scripted sex scenes that are disturbing, boring, and not at all steamy? Yeah, I mean, if people are into that, and apparently the movie was popular, right? So whether women enjoy it just because of the fantasy and the what if.
Okay. Did you watch the movie?
Of course not.
Okay. You're so elitist. Okay, well, I watched the movie and I read all the books. The thing about 50 Shades of Grey is it's not a movie or story about BDSM. It's a love story about a man who could only experience pleasure during sex if he engaged in BDSM. He met a woman who was not into it, and she tried to give him what he needed, but in the end, she just couldn't. And yet they still went and ended up falling in love, getting married, and having babies, right? So it wasn't a story about BDSM, it was a story about love. Okay. But BDSM in and of itself, I mean, to use that, so I was able to pull up the article.
Okay.
I think that the only problem I have with this article is that it's using 50 Shades of Grey. It's obvious the person didn't really pay attention or really watch the movie to use that as an analogy. But she goes on to say, now if words like submission, sadism, or masochism are new to you, I totally get it. For many, especially those whose knowledge of BDSM stems purely from films like 50 Shades, the practice may sound intimidating at first, but it is possible to combine sex, power, and even pain in a healthy manner. Jean says, as long as all involved are communicative and explicitly provide their active consent.
So you jumped ahead of me a little bit. That's fine, because within that article is another article, and that's the other one I was doing.
That's where I get like the sadism, the masochism. Why do you want to engage in? Why do people need to engage in all of that just to have sex? Like, why is that necessary?
Women like being deeply penetrated to the point they feel pain. All right, just because you say you don't, except there are aspects of it that you do enjoy as a woman, and a man who can assert that and still care about the woman. But so here's what BDSM, and I think the point that people miss: the level of intimacy required to engage in it is extremely high, and the level of communication is very high.
Okay, but still, it's just because again, like just because I want to be stimulated stimulation has absolutely nothing to do with pain. Once pain enters in, I'm no longer stimulated. I don't enjoy pain with sex. I understand some people do. It's just not my bag. This is not something that I could see myself being into. The sadism, masochism. I don't need to be beat. I don't need to be slapped. Okay, yes, every woman likes a little hair pulling. Little. Okay, well,
say that again. It must have broke up. Say that again. I didn't hear you.
Because now I'm like a little hair pulling, a little choking.
What do you mean hair pulling? Choking and hair pulling.
Leave me alone.
And you're telling me that's not BDSM?
You're right. Okay, you are right.
Oh my God! You're just trying to confuse me.
Wait,
that's why I started first talking about this first article, which is written by Grace Carpenter, and she's really condemning it and saying how this is awful and it's demeaning to women, and you know, it's just emotional abuse. And this guy got this woman to do things that she didn't want to do, yet now you turn around and tell me the woman married him.
Yeah, that was not. Yeah, that was not abuse, and he didn't get her to do things she didn't want to do. She fully consented, so she was a willing participant.
Right, exactly. He didn't rape her, and that's why when I was saying to you, and I want to understand what you mean, Lisa, by why is that, Ted? But that's why when I said when a man, if he's holding a woman down, and Country Boy, I see you in the house. If he's forcefully holding a woman down, I mean, that's not abuse. Some women absolutely enjoy the physical dominance of a man over her.
Yes, I mean that's if she enjoys it.
I said no. See, you have to listen. I said some women actually enjoy the masculine dominance over a woman. They actually enjoy that. Now, why? How could that be bad? And that is a form of BDSM.
It may be
a light form. It may be a light form, just like choking and pulling hair.
It's only bad to those who don't enjoy it.
And if you oppose it, right? If you rape the woman.
No, if I don't enjoy being held down and you hold me down anyway, guess what? I'm gonna have a negative outlook on that situation, on that engagement. Some women don't enjoy being held down. Some women don't enjoy being dominated at all. And they're shamed for it.
I get that. And some women get reactivated from trauma. And so it makes it difficult for them to enjoy that.
Right.
And so a man needs to understand that. And at the same time, if a woman can free herself from that trauma, then she'd have the freedom of choice to actually experience it and say, I like it or I don't like it, as opposed to having it be a reliving something that traumatized her.
Wait, PJ asked, is chainsaw involved in BDSM?
It
Listen,
depends on what you're working with.
listen, have you watched the movie American Psycho? It's an old movie from the 80s with Christian Bale, one of his breakout roles. And he was a psychopath and he was into chopping up women while he was having sex with them. So I guess.
Well, no, they have these snuff movies. That's a whole different thing. I kind of that's
Ugh.
that's a whole different extreme. And just as a side, on the dark net, there are people, women, who will say, "Hey, I want to commit suicide. I volunteer for a snuff movie." There are women who do that. So,
That's crazy.
yep. So, Lisa Simmons said, I read an article that said BDSM is often tied to childhood physical abuse.
I don't engage in it, so I can't speak. I mean, I would love to see that article.
There is some of that happens. So just figure one person takes it as being traumatized, and I never want to experience that again, and another person takes it as like I deserved it, and I continue to deserve it, so I still like to have that as part of my life.
So in the movie 50 Shades of Grey, that was the star Christian Grey. That was his background. Like he was adopted, and he dealt with abuse and abandonment and neglect issues from his biological mother. And then so he had like some trauma from it, and in order to, because he was headed down the wrong path, so his adoptive mother, one of her good friends, longtime friends, introduced him to the life of BDSM. And when he started engaging in BDSM, it opened his mind, and he was able to engage with people in gruesome. So had just became this wonderful billionaire out of it. I don't know. It was crazy how they tie that in, but his BDSM stemmed from his childhood trauma.
So I'll tell you about my initial exposure, and it was so slight in this to that world. It was only called S&M, but I'm not going to do that yet. You all are going to have to wait for that.
I gotta get comfortable for this one. Okay.
You're going to have to wait. I want to talk about this article first.
Take a drink real quick.
So I think you read this, where she said, if words like submission, sadism, or masochism are new to you, I totally get it. For many, especially those whose knowledge of BDSM stems purely from the movies 50 Shades, the practice may sound intimidating at first, but it is possible to combine sex, power, and even pain in a healthy manner, Jean says. So that's why I was asking, like, can it cause heightened arousal? Can it intensify pleasure? And I would say for a man or a woman, it can. But for women, biting nipples, like, men don't have the same sensations on the nipples as women do. Because yours secretes oxytocin, and oxytocin is such a feel good. It's like a drug.
Yeah, but some men like that.
I understand, but we don't get the same. As a general rule, men do not stimulate oxytocin by stimulating the nipples. Women do.
Okay.
That on average, it's abnormal if a woman doesn't. And
stimulating nipples. Okay, so stimulating nipples. Can you explain stimulating nipples? Because when I think of stimulating nipples, I don't think of pain.
No, stimulating. So it's just in a medical sense. You go to your OBGYN, and if you're pregnant, they will want to check your oxytocin levels. So they they stimulate, they touch you have to touch your nipples, and they test your oxytocin.
Why do they do that?
Well, it's a way, because that's how you're going to bond with that unborn child. That's part of your pregnancy.
Wait, are you
I'm talking from a medical perspective?
Right, but I'm saying, are you saying that during lactation, in order to lactate their?
No. It's so when a woman's pregnant, she stimulates a huge amount of oxytocin, and it causes the woman to feel like, I love my child loves me. It creates this aura of love between the woman and this unborn child. It's oxytocin.
I understand that.
That's all. So when they stimulate her nipples, they want to. It is a way to test. I said OBGYN. Who are you listening to now?
That's what I'm trying to get at, because I didn't quite.
I said from a medical perspective that when you go to the OBGYN and you're pregnant, they want to check your oxytocin levels. They do that.
I didn't have that done.
Look, I understand that. But female OBGYN who does this for a living is the one who told me this.
I get that, but I've never had that done.
I understand. They may have looked at you and said, you're fine. So
oh, no, I didn't look like this. Oh, no, let me take that back, because when I got pregnant, child.
So doctors are concerned that a woman's oxytocin levels, whether it's sufficient or deficient, so that she properly bonds with the child. All I'm saying,
doctors, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I just want you to understand that is not a regular nor common thing when you're pregnant.
I got it. So maybe she's a special kind of doctor. I don't know. She did it for a long time. But so all I was saying was that the stimulation to the nipples for a woman and a man is not the same. And I'm saying biochemically.
Did you see what PJ wrote? Y'all is cutting up in the chat room, I see.
Cut off too early, huh? So.
No, he said you should get Ted to do it for you.
I saw that. I saw both comments. Yes. I might need 2 hands.
Yeah, you're going to need 2 hands, sir. These are 2 handfuls.
I got it.
Well, they're beyond 2 handfuls, but. I mean, I don't understand why you're up here. You're like up on my shoulder. My breasts are lower, and you're like up on my shoulder. Never was just I am wearing a dress too, by the way.
I can't see it. Oh, let me look. Oh, some people don't like that. Oh, I saw it somewhere. That shenanigans of going under your head.
Okay. All right, so back to the article.
So here's what's interesting, as she said, and she is taking it out of a woman who is a sex educator, instructor, and coach. Her name is Lola Jean. And Lola Jean, you already read that it's broken up. BDSM can be broken up into 3 subcategories: bondage, discipline, dominant, submission, sadism, and masochism. But here's what I think is important, and I think, and this is why I did the other article first, because there are so many negative preconceived emotion. What, Ted's hands are too small for women? You think so? All right. Well, we have to do this live one day to find out.
No, we're not.
YouTube and
right, it's YouTube and chill. This is not OnlyFans and chill. This is not Pornhub and chill. This is not Voyeur Day and chill. So no, it's not gonna happen. But so I was looking.
Wait. But this is why. So part of the reason I wanted to do this is because I think people have so many negative preconceived notions about it. And this woman who is a sex educator, she said that there's sexual aftercare, and it refers to the period of time partners spend together after an intense sexual experience. In order to engage in aftercare, openly discuss how you felt during and after the sex act. This conversation can ensure that each partner feels appreciated and cared for. It can differ from couple to couple based on their wants and needs. And for some, it might include cuddling. For others, it can look like a conversation about exactly what was going through your mind during sex. So that's a level of intimacy. And I'm asserting that a lot of couples don't have that kind of insightful sexual conversation about what the other was experienced, to have that kind of intimate understanding of one another.
I think a lot of couples do. You can have that level of vulnerability and intimacy without BDSM. I'm not knocking it. It's just not something I would engage in because I'm not into pain like that. So,
well, see, if you engage, see, the thing is, they have things like safe words, right? So if you're going too far, so there has to be, you have to really be connected, in tune. Even though people may just see it as it's pain and pleasure kind of thing, you have to have some level of care that you don't push the person over the edge.
But see, BDSM is practiced outside of relationships, so I don't even think I don't think having a care for the person per se is the at the forefront. I think each person understanding that there are rules of engagement,
and you have to care about the rules, though.
Okay, yes, and then
there's a level of care that has to be present.
And the person who is in the submission position actually has all the power because they say what they'll engage in and what they won't engage in. They say yes, they say no. So I'm not knocking it for those who are interested in it. I know when you posted this in Straight Talk, there was someone who said he was down for the cause. It's just, I just cannot see myself going full on outside of hair pulling and a little choke, a slight choke, not a full.
You've got to get that's still part of it. It's whether it's light, whether being bitten on your nipples. Some women just like a little spank. With all of that, pulling hair, choking, whether you call it light, it's still part of that world.
I said outside of that. I'm really not. It's not part of it. Okay, but outside of that, that means I understand that is part of it. So I'm saying outside of that, I can't see myself going full on doing it.
See, but I think maybe that's the concern. People are too concerned about going too far. And see, then I'd have to wonder, why would anyone be concerned about going too far?
Why would you be concerned about whether or not someone's into it or not? Like I personally am not really, I don't really care what other people do in the bedroom. Whether someone wants to do something or not, that's not any of my business.
I'm asking a different question. So I'm talking about the mindset of a person. If you know where your limits are, that's it. So why talk about, well, what you don't want? Like, here's what I'm good with. So it would make me wonder, are some people who claim that they don't want to go down that line, are they really afraid of finding out something about themselves they didn't know they might like?
No, it's not something I'm just by looking at it, reading that. No, it's not something I'm into. I'm not into pain. Outside of a little choke, a little hair pulling, there's no pain involved in that. Spanking, nipple pulling, biting, all of that. Once pain is injected, I'm just completely turned off. So,
well, see, some people may be so. What's the word I want? like kind of like in the zone. Like it's such an intense act that their body doesn't interpret it as pain. It only intensifies whatever's happening.
I
And this is going to lead to a conversation that was like, how can you have the two in one? Like making love, but I'll get to that in a second. So, so you could actually have more pain happening during sex than a person believes they could, because you've now mixed pain and pleasure, and perhaps the woman can't even distinguish between the two. Like it's now so intense that the pain and pleasure have come together. It's like two roads have converged into one, and neither matters anymore because they've become one.
I think that happens, and I think that's why a lot of people, women, will engage in BDSM. That pain starts to turn into pleasure. BDSM is about bringing the other person pleasure, but they're bringing them pleasure through pain. The way my mind is, instantly once I start feeling pain, I'm no longer feeling pleasure.
I understand that.
No, so I'm speaking for someone who is not willing and open to engage in hardcore BDSM, to where it's like you're injecting the pain. Like I can get down with a little something added to make the sexual act feel more fulfilling. Like I said, the hair pulling, the choking, because to me that's a lot of that deals in dominance, right? I love feeling dominated, being dominated in the bedroom.
That's what I was saying in the beginning. You confused.
Well, you were saying BDSM is about masculinity, and no, the two are not. The two have nothing to do with each other. I like being dominated in the bedroom, but I don't like being dominated to the point where I am in pain, put in pain. No, I'm not. Listen, this is why I only have one child, because I don't like pain.
Well, if you were having sex during childbirth, it might have been different. So
No, it would have been different. That's a whole nother level of BDSM, sadomasochism. I don't even think they would have a word for that. That is.
I have a solution for that, but
What's the solution?
this might be the conversation for it. But all right, Faceless Man, thanks for stepping in here. He said, I think what happens sometimes, it's the same with people who are scared of getting into a relationship with a person of honest character, is that once you're in it or do it, you have to reconcile the person you think you are with the person you are. So a lot of people have a block when it comes to a certain things sexually, because it might make them have to rethink how they view themselves. Yeah, that's well said, Faceless Man. Really well said.
I can see that.
And that's what I was saying. See, I don't care about what people do in the bedroom. It's a mindset that he's talking about. That people can be introduced to something and find out they actually enjoy this, and they've created this whole identity around, I'm prim and proper and all this stuff, and next thing they're like, oh my God, I like that. They have to reconcile. Why do I like this?
I get that, but there are also people who just don't like something, and it has absolutely nothing to do with anything other than I just don't like something. It has nothing to do with being prim or proper or how someone would view them. That usually happens when someone has grown up in a very strict religious household. They have a strict religious background where you're supposed to only engage in sex in a missionary position. Anything outside of that is a sin and wrong. So they have this mental block to where trying anything and then liking it, right? Oh, I'm going to hell for it. But then there are people who just don't like certain things. And I'm like,
and what you're saying about the religious in hell, some of them may be more likely to do that than someone who's not. No, hey, PJ, she's not against caveman style. She's acting.
How do you know what I'm for and against?
We've already had that conversation.
Listen, I wasn't here when y'all were talking about caveman style. So I was not here when that conversation happened.
First day, we can rewind to the first YouTube and Chill show. And I asked you if you like rough sex.
I said I like being dominated.
You said you like rough sex if it's a quickie.
I said in an appropriate setting, and that's during a quickie. I don't
And it's recorded. I remember.
Right. I am not into hardcore rough sex. I'm just not. That's just not my thing.
See, you keep saying hardcore. I didn't even get there yet. I didn't get to hardcore yet. I'm just putting a tip in. We're just easing into this, okay?
We're just putting a tip in. Isn't that what y'all all say? I'm just gonna put the tip in. Just let me put the tip in. No, like you were saying, a man holds you down and he's dominating you. Caveman style has no limits. Oh yeah, well I guess I'm not into caveman style. Absolutely not, because I have my limits. You know, you're holding me down. You got me pinned. I don't really care to be pinned. And I don't like being pinned down where I can't move. So you got me pinned and you're just going to town. No, thank you. I'm not getting any pleasure out of that. At that point, I don't even feel like I'm being involved. That just seems like it's just all about the guy. So no, thank you.
Well, technically, in that position, a man and woman could. So the idea of making love, which may be more what you would call affectionate and slow and rhythmic and in tune, you know, that may be what a lot of people may call making love. Like we're in tune to one another and it's slow and it's touching, it's feeling. And a guy could hold you down and still be in that slow love making. And it could escalate to like what PJ said, is pain and pleasure becomes interchangeable to the point of unrecognition. So you could start off in this slow, like I want to use the word like tantric, like this slow rhythmic lovemaking where the two are in sync, and it could intensify to not completely, but so you could have this affection and go to fucking, and then you have fucking and lovemaking all in one, and it becomes interchangeable and you can't tell the difference. And that's the same thing with pain and pleasure. So if you're making love and fucking at the same time, you could have pain and pleasure all in one package deal.
Oh my gosh, my poor little ears. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Did you tell everybody what your original title for today's show was going to be?
I don't know. What was it?
You say it. You don't want to came up with it.
Oh, now all of a sudden you're all shy and prudish. Did you come here with a Mayflower?
Some ancestors may have. Listen, did I say anything? Okay. No, you say it.
Look at you all.
Listen, I don't really cuss all that much, so no.
All that much? Well, this wouldn't be. So you
like I have to be upset or frustrated for some cuss words to fly out.
So you want me to get you upset?
No, I don't want you to get me upset.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you'll be very good at that, but let's not do that.
You can have makeup sex after that.
Yeah, no. But so tell everybody what the original title was for today's.
Well, it's actually not the same thing, but it can be included. Just like BDSM can include so many different things. In some ways, this could be a light form of BDSM. So I thought about the show being, what was the exact words? What's the difference between making love and fucking?
Yes. But you put the latter first.
What's the difference between fucking and making love?
Yes, that's what you said.
Right.
So why did you switch to BDSM?
Because I can do more research. I want to read more from this article here. So this woman, the sex coach, the sex educator, she talks about 3 different aspects of BDSM, and one, BDSM is rooted in pleasure. And when people hear BDSM, they tend to associate it with general sadism. See, and that's what you're doing, says Jean. BDSM can, in fact, be sweet, fulfilling, and creative.
Lie. I don't care what.
I'm reading the article. What gets lost is the understanding, effort, responsibility that comes with being a dominant, or the simultaneous control and vulnerability that comes with being a submissive. In a healthy BDSM relationship, all partners aim to please each other, and the submissive sets their own boundaries. Like you were saying, they're leading, they're saying where that's enough or keep going. Physical abuse is an impact that is unwanted and non-consensual, not just painful, Jean says. The basis of sub-dom relationship is fulfilling your partner's needs, providing them pleasure, and constantly communicating to ensure you're doing both well. It's yet another reason why aftercare, and that's the whole, where there's talking, cuddling, aftercare can be so critical. Not only is it imperative that all partners feel safe and cared for, but everyone must also have a deep understanding of the other's boundaries, comfort levels, and sexual interests. See, and that's why, you were saying, well, if you don't know one another, there's no care. But I'm saying that's the part people don't understand, this world of BDSM, that there is a level of care there. There is. So if you're the dominant and you're administering pain, you do care. The reason you're in that position is because the other person is giving you the responsibility to administer their pleasure through pain. And so there has to be a care that they are actually getting the pleasure they wanted.
Okay.
Hey, and Faceless Man, I see your comment about CEOs and PhD types. I'm holding out a little bit. I'm holding out for a personal story about that. She goes on to say, you want to communicate with your partner before you bring any BDSM into the bedroom. Sex expert and booty parlor founder Dana Myers told Bustle. Discuss who's going to play the dominant and submissive roles, and be clear about what you are willing to try and what's simply too far outside of your comfort zone. Having this talk will strengthen your communication, build intimacy, and create a strong sense of trust so that you can let go of your inhibitions and explore some kinkier sex play safely and comfortably in your relationship. See, it's much more intimate than people realize. There's this whole preconceived notion about how horrible and I'm subjected to abuse and I'm in an awful position, and people mischaracterize it.
I would never say that it's abusive. You can't call it abusive when both parties are consenting. It's just I don't even think most people look at it as abusive. Most people just see it as something that's weird and not something that they're into.
But that's still a preconceived notion, even to say.
I have to step away for a second. So
wait, stand up.
No, I'm not. I'm turning my mic off.
Dress.
What?
And why is your top button screaming so hard? Like it
leave me alone.
The top button wants to, like, it can't make it. It's trying to cross the Atlantic Ocean. Like, that's London and that's New York, and they want to be.
Why are you so focused on my buttons on my dress?
Well, I like buttons.
Do you now?
Yeah, let's push some buttons here. Where's that button?
Sounds like to me.
Okay. So PJ, you heard that, huh? See, stand up. Interesting. We'll get to that. So Lisa Simmons, what do you think of this? This is the YouTube and chill time to talk about sex. So Lisa Simmons, is this BDSM? Is this part of your bedroom agenda in any way? Is that are we infringing on your own personal territory, or is this a world you'd like to step into? Faceless man, let's see. You said so you hear about the CEOs and PhDs, right? Yes, definitely verbal consent. Yeah, you don't want to have some woman come back and say you abused her. And by the way, for the record, a lot of people don't know that piercing, especially in the nipple or the clit, the penis, all piercing is part of the S&M or BDSM world. That's where piercings come from originally. Do you have your nipples pierced?
Who, me?
Yes.
Absolutely not.
No? Okay. I thought that's why that top button couldn't make it across the Atlantic, because you had a piercing or something.
No, I have a difficulty with buttons because I'm a well-endowed lady. Has nothing to do with piercings.
No?
No.
Okay. Would you ever do that?
No, I would not.
Really?
No, I'm not into, other than earrings, I'm not really into marking my body.
Okay. I have a story about that, but we're going to get to that in a few. Not yet.
we have to see to believe.
Interesting. Verbal consent isn't enough. Interesting. Yeah, I've heard of guys having women sign some sort of paper saying she's consenting to sex. That's too bad we've gotten to that point, huh?
I mean, but I would think you would have to, because if something goes wrong, you know, you want to make sure that you have documentation that this person did consent to such acts.
Right. So, no question. Yeah. So in New York City, I don't know how alive and well that world is, but I know I've heard stories about back in the 70s and up in the early 80s. New York has these underground, like underneath stores. People know New York has an extensive subway system. So there are a lot of things aside from subways that are underground. Just for the record, there are people called mole people that actually live underground, and they live underneath Manhattan or New York. And that is where they live 365 days a year. They live underground. That's where they live. They are not part of the society above. But there were these, I guess, abandoned meat packing places where, they would take, I guess because New York has some limits on real estate, so they either build up or they built underneath into the rock. And there were these places where you had meat packing, and when they were no longer using the meat packing, people actually used those places to practice S&M. And sometimes you'd hear cases where I guess the fail-safe word was ignored and it went too far and the person died and they would be left there dead. So people do have to be careful with these things.
That is, so is that where the term meatpacking district comes from?
Would you like me to show
you where the
comes from? Because I know where the meatpacking district is, where you can pack meat.
Oh my goodness. Really? So you'll take me there one day?
All right. Yeah, I'd like to take you to the.
You'll show me?
I show you how to pack meat.
Okay, I don't know if I want to see packing meat. I don't want to learn how to pack meat. I don't need to learn how to pack meat.
I didn't say I teach you how. I said I show you where to pack meat.
Oh, okay. You are incorrigible. You're shameless.
Yes, I do know where the meat packing district is for sure.
But is that where the term came from? Because that was
No, there is. It's still an area called the meat packing district, but I think it was beyond just. So there's an area right around 14th Street and 8th Avenue, and it's become a really posh upscale area. But if you would have gone there 20 years ago, it smelled like meat. It smelled like dead meat. And they just started creating all these upscale restaurants and some condominiums also. But it's a very nice area now. It's a very cool hangout part of New York. But that I don't think that was the only area where you had meat packing. So you may have had a deli, or that had they kept their meat below ground.
Wait. Okay. So Faceless Man said, yeah, you don't ever put pressure on the front of the throat, just the size of the neck with your fingers. Faceless Man. Sounds like an expert in throat choking.
Yeah, you have to be a little careful with that windpipe. She can choke, but you can do it from the front. It's okay. It works.
Listen to y'all. Oh my goodness.
Linda, you know the meatpacking district? Do you know it like I know it? Oh, no. Cool rich kids. Oh, that part. Yeah, Manhattan. It is. It is. It is a very cool area.
Well, I'm ordering dinner.
What'd you say about dinner?
I'm currently ordering me dinner.
Dinner. It's 3 o'clock.
Well, my fasting time starts at 5, so.
Okay. It's a little riskier thought. Yeah, you just don't hit the bottom part here. She won't work you.
Well, we don't really have what y'all.
You just don't press your finger in.
Right in here. You just go right up here, right? You just here.
Letitia will teach you.
Yeah, so, you just go right here. So it seems like men need to get some lessons in choking and ass smacking too, because this is why I don't like getting spanked, because you need to do it right. Like if I spank myself, it doesn't hurt, right? It just feels good. But a guy spank you on your ass, and ouch. Y'all need to learn y'all strength.
Some women will smack themselves in the face during sex, during a climax.
Yeah, I heard some women like to being smacked during sex. That's not my thing. I'm not into that. That's going a little too far for me.
Well, I'm saying some women will smack themselves in the face.
Okay, that's still, I wouldn't do it. That makes absolutely no sense to me, but okay. I mean, whatever floats their boat to get them to the finish line, whatever is their goal, it's just not for me. You got to grab a little at the end of the spank. No, you gotta hit it right. Use the palm of your hand and hit it. Y'all want to use this part. That's where the hurt comes in. You want to make sure the palm of your hand meets the meatiest part of the behind.
And what about like right behind see if we go right behind your neck, like at the top of the spine? What if you're bitten kind of hard right there?
No, why would you want to one, why would you want to bite me hard? And two, why would you want to bite me there? If you want to bite, you bite like somewhere in the area. Like you bite down like on the shoulders, but not too hard, but just enough to where, it stimulates her. Because biting there, it shows a or on the side of the neck.
Well, I was gonna say right at the bottom where the neck and the shoulder come. If you bite Yep.
Yeah.
Right there.
Right there, yeah.
You bite right there. She'll it like brings the nerves.
Y'all better get ready for all that piss that's gonna come. That y'all like so much.
And Lisa Simmons, right? I was when you were gone. I said piercings that originally was part of the BDSM world.
Yeah, I'm not. Mm, Nipple
So,
pierce. Mm-mm. I always wanted to get my belly button pierced, but then I'm like, I'm not really into pain all that like that. I was a very small baby when I got my ears pierced, so I don't remember that. And then I got a small tattoo when I graduated from high school. And childbirth was the extent of any pain dealing with my body.
so this woman in this article said 3 types of BDSM. One was for pleasure. And she says the other one, number 2, is dominance and submission are about trust. Contrary to popular belief, the submissive is never truly out of control. Many people assume that a dominant makes demands and orders at all times, says Jean. Yes, this may happen once the relationship has been established and there is understanding within the dynamic. But if there is a large element of trust that needs to be built within the relationship with a power dynamic, even when forced to do something, it should be on the submissive's own free will. There should always be an out exit or safe words available. BDSM is all about placing your trust in another person. Submissives often take on the role of surrendering control to their dominant. That said, in a healthy relationship, in a healthy BDMS relationship, subs will ultimately decide when to start and stop. Carefully select mechanisms like safe words, provide the submissive with control and agency. See, this is the, I'm going to assert that people who engage in this practice will have a higher level of intimacy than the average person because of the communication, the sort of coordination. It is real collaboration. You really have to be working together. And there's an intimacy, there's a care because it's still being done within the context of pleasure.
Well, yeah, that's because you have the 2 essential elements for communication. For intimacy, which is communication and vulnerability.
Correct.
Everything
Exactly.
And then the submissive has to be completely vulnerable in order to get to a place where they're putting all of their power and control into the hands of another person.
Thank you. Now we're right back to what I was saying at the beginning. Thank you.
It's still not an act I would engage in.
No, listen. Here's what I'm saying. If a woman is completely in a feminine character, right? And if she is completely enjoying her femininity, and you know I have a whole nother conversation about the word trust, but just to make it simple for everyone here,
don't use words you don't believe.
I don't believe in anything. So so if she's completely vulnerable and has no care or concern about her safety and well-being with the man, she can be completely vulnerable and the man can assert his masculinity and do it with care, and pain can happen out of it and it still won't. The intimacy will still be there because he's still concerned with her pleasure and getting pleasure out of it.
You have to take into account that some people enjoy pain and some people don't. I don't care how vulnerable you are. If the pain is not something you enjoy, you're not going to enjoy it. Nothing being vulnerable and open and communicating with your significant other, your partner, is not going to eliminate the fact that you don't like pain.
So I don't know how many women are listening here. I'm going to ask a question. If a man is, and he's got a really slow rhythmic grind, and you got caught up in that rhythm and you're enjoying it, and then he starts slowly drilling a little deeper and a little deeper to the point that you're now starting to feel pain, and he won't let up. In fact, he even draws some blood from your vagina because he drilled so deep. But it was just no banging, no harsh, no fast, just a slow, gentle, masculine grind. I want to know from the ladies, would you still enjoy the power of that man's masculinity?
No, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Because if I'm telling you to stop and you're not stopping, then
what if you don't say stop? What if you just don't?
I'm gonna say stop. I'm not. I
Why?
can't. Why wouldn't I? If I'm not enjoying it and you're causing me to be in pain, first off, do you know what you're hitting in order to draw blood and to cause pain like that? You're not hitting the vagina. You're hitting her cervix. And you're not meant to be bumping into the cervix all like that. So that requires you to switch position. I don't know why men think that pain equals better sex. Some women like it, some women don't. I wouldn't enjoy it. So
Some women have a tilted uterus and you can straighten it out with your penis.
Yeah, I have a tilted uterus. And no, you leave my
uterus. Do you
uterus.
have a tilted uterus?
Yes, I do. You're going to leave my cervix and my uterus alone. I don't need you to try to straighten it out. I don't think
tilted uterus.
What you're doing.
You have a tilted uterus.
Yes, I do.
Do you? You know it can be straightened out, you know.
No, I'm good. No, I don't need you to straighten it out. Yeah, baby could possibly straighten out a tilted
Yeah,
uterus.
you don't need a baby.
As far as I'll let that happen. But no, I'm not into pain. PJ keeps asking, can you see? Can you see PJ? No. You're not seeing anything.
Lisa, would you be opposed to that gentle grind that draws blood? Some men don't think you're being honest.
Oh my gosh, no. I'm sorry. If they don't think I'm being honest, that's them. Because no, I can't. I know enough about my vagina and the vaginal area to know that if I'm feeling pain, I'm not supposed to be feeling pain because you're doing something wrong.
Well, what if you're just getting your cervix straighted out? I mean, your uterus straightened. Untilted. Instead of being like this, it'll be perfectly straight.
No. Leave it alone.
You know how people say, hey, I'm straight? You can now say, I'm straight.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't need it can stay tilted because I'd rather deal with that than to deal with the pain of you trying to straighten it out. So I'm okay. Our bodies naturally tell us when something is too much. Unfortunately, some people, they don't listen to the pain. I listen to my body. So pain is telling me that something's not right. So therefore, you're going to have to stop. And if you don't stop, then we're going to have a problem.
Oh my God. PJ said, what if there's blood but no pain?
Why would the only time that happens is when she's about to come on her period. Like you bump the cervix, she's going to feel something, a cramp, pain, something. She may not say anything. I definitely would say something. I'm going to tell you, stop. Like you need to, maneuver and work on flexing your hips to get in.
Once your uterus gets straightened out, that problem goes away.
What problem? No, you regardless if you have a tip uterus or not, men can still hit the uterus, the cervix.
But if you straighten it out, it won't feel much. Not telling you from my experience, but
whether you have a tilted uterus or not, man can still listen. Them 4 inches aren't hitting anything.
Exactly, it's not going to hit anything.
Not hitting anything.
Right.
6 inches aren't probably not going to hit anything either. You know where you got to be at to hit something?
Where?
So, I mean, you were talking about dig deep, get down deep, and I'm sitting there thinking the average penis size is 5 inches. Average penis size is 5 inches.
So the average guy can't tell that story about straightening out uterus, huh?
Right. And unless she is not in, during the time of that she's not ovulating, the cervix drops and it's lower in the vaginal canal. So 5 inches, 6 inches could possibly hit the cervix and cause pain.
Okay.
But y'all not really hitting. I mean, not y'all as in y'all, because I don't know what y'all working with. But I'm saying, considering the average body size, the average penis size is 5 inches.
The average guy is not doing that.
Correct.
The faceless man said in some inches. What if he just works extra hard? This guy.
You're not hitting the service. He's definitely not hitting anything. I mean, he now that's a good size to hit the G spot. That is
wow.
Right there to hit the G spot, right?
Don't stop this guy because it's not P, right? So anyway, let's see. So the third thing this woman says is consent is crucial. This is, I guess, is what you're saying, right? You need consent.
Right.
One of the greatest challenges the BDSM community continues to face is misrepresentation in films and on television. While BDSM is largely associated with whips, chains, and leather ensembles, there are plenty of ways to ease into kink. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like you can ease your way into it. You don't need a whip and a chain and handcuffs and all that.
I watched HBO Real Stories, okay, about the real stories. And
you watch too much TV. That's it.
They have an episode on, no, this is like real going into the BDSM world. And they showed you the different levels and how they get there, and so the article is correct. I'm not looking at 50 Shades of Grey. I mean, the guy had a sex room with all these, like, it looked like he had some torture racks or whatever, right? I know that that's not all that BDSM is. I know that it's not about the whips and the chains, all like that, because some people use scarves. Some people use strings or ties,
right.
But still, for me, it's not. I'm not trying to do all of that. That's too much in the bedroom. I just rather it just be me and you, 101, and we're bonding in that moment. We don't need anything extra. That's all I need.
And you're just using that masculine force to let your presence be known. Why do you like that one so much?
No, because I'm not saying anything. Because if I say something, then you're gonna say something else, and I'm like, whatever, okay.
Well, let's talk.
Listen, as long as you don't desire me to put your legs up in the air, you'd be surprised what some men like. The stories I hear, I'm like, oh, some of these men like to be dominated. So.
Well, actually, yeah, and I'm going to get to that story in a second. There are some guys you'd be surprised. Faceless Man put about CEOs and PhD women. Well, wait till you hear the stories about men. So she goes on to say, I highly recommend starting with dirty talk and sexting prior to doing anything in the sexual setting, says G.
Wait. Dirty talk? Do you engage in dirty talk sex?
Dirty talk.
Dirty talk. Let's talk about dirty talk.
You think that's part of BDSM?
I think that's part of foreplay and intimacy.
Foreplay. All right, that seems to me more part of the actual sexual engagement. Because, right, so for some guys, during sex, and he's pulling hair, he might be telling you, you my bitch.
Okay, no. We won't be having any of that.
Is that dirty talk?
You're not calling me a bitch.
No, I said, is that dirty talk? Yes,
that's dirty talk, but you can do some dirty talk without calling a woman a bitch.
Look, you're my slut. What? You're my whore. You're my whore.
You're none of that. Yeah, no. You say
chica. Dirty talk.
You say chica. Okay, you know what? Let's hear some dirty talk in Spanish.
Puta.
Wait, is it that bitch?
No, it's a slut. It's like it's
Okay.
so here's what some Latin American women mothers will tell their daughters.
Okay.
When don't sleep with a lot of different men. It'll kill your reputation and it's not healthy. However, if when you meet a man that you love and you want to be with, you can be a puta on la calle with that man. I mean, you can be like a slut, a whore in the streets with that man.
Yes, I understand that women are told that be a lady in the streets and a freak between the sheets.
No, but when your mother sits you down and talks to you and tells you that,
I know a lot of young ladies' mothers who have told them that.
Okay, well, I got it.
But then they unfortunately they didn't apply some wisdom to that and say don't be that for every man.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Wait. Look, take this D, you little. Is he trying to say take this D, you little? Wait, so y'all calling y'all women whores, bitches, and sluts in bed? That's dirty talk. Y'all can't even come up with something that is not degrading.
Exactly, Lando. Right.
No.
They'll resist and say, I'm not your bitch.
Absolutely. I've been head over heels in love. I've been married. Absolutely not. You are not calling me a bitch in the bedroom. I don't care. You're not calling me a bitch, slut, or whore.
You're my bitch.
No, you're not going to call me that. I don't understand why y'all can't come up with dirty talk that does not revolve around her grading, degrading a woman.
This is what this article is saying, that women are so concerned about emotional. This is a feminist move. I can't be degraded. You can't say no. It has nothing to do with that.
It does too. Because why do you need to use such language? Why can't you use other adjectives? Why can't you use
okay? Then I bark like a dog. You're my dog.
See that again? That's degrading. Why does it have to be something degrading?
People love dogs.
You love this. You love this, girl. You love this. Right? Whose is it? Whatever happened to you? Love this. Whose is it? Who's your daddy?
That's not dirty talk. There's nothing dirty.
That is dirty talk. That is dirty.
Listen.
Oh wow.
Now I'm gonna do dirty. How the fuck can you say love and say it's dirty? No.
Love what?
Do you love this? That's not dirty talk. That's talking.
Love. I said like. You like this. You want
Do you
this.
love this? Do you like this? There's nothing dirty about it.
Yes, it is.
That's not dirty.
That is dirty. Calling a woman a bitch, okay. So and so what if she called you a bitch? Like, do women get the, like, so or is dirty talk just reserved for men? Like you
are while I'm grabbing your hair and I have you on all fours and say you're my bitch, you try telling me I'm your bitch and see what happens. I got you. Where are you going?
Right. So y'all don't like it, but y'all want us to like it.
No. Where are you going? You got nothing. Okay. And I'll take you and I'll put you on your back and put your knees to your ears and hold your wrist at the same time and you go nowhere.
First off, I'm not that flexible. So no.
On that morning you will be.
So you're gonna break some bones, pull some muscles.
and straighten out your uterus all in one. This is my uterus. I'm straightening this out.
You talk a good game, Mr.
Santos. You'll be into BDSM after that.
Listen, Mr. Santos, you talk a good game. You talk a really good game. I mean, you like up here with it, sir. But no, you're not calling me a bitch. Trust me. You might, because you have to deal with the aftermath after you're done. After the orgasm, this
is why I'm reading this article. This article is very important. It's called Sexual Aftercare, where you actually have a conversation and you ask, how were you feeling during that, right? So Did you feel taken care of? What? And okay, so you may not do that in the future. But see, this is why people in the world of BDSM generally will have greater intimacy because they.
I'm telling you beforehand, don't do that. I don't appreciate something like that. Why would you do it anyway?
Because
so no,
your uterus is straight now.
Well, you know what? So I don't care. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to have sex with you anymore because I didn't feel safe in that. I did not feel safe. So no, I don't want to have sex.
Now your uterus is straight. You can go back to your doctor and he'll look at it and say, "My gosh, how did you do that?"
But then, what's the purpose? So you just want the power to straighten out my uterus? That's what it. That's what
it makes childbearing easier when you have a straight. If a tilted uterus makes childbearing more difficult.
Possibly. I mean, that's why I was in labor for 21 hours.
Listen. I'm suggesting a solution. Women always want a solution, and when you give them one, what do they say? I don't want it.
I'm probably not going to have any more kids. So what's the point of having a straight uterus?
Okay. I heard. Anyway, I won't talk about that story. But
Listen, I am a CEO of my own company. Don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to me like that. So that's all I'm saying. I think Faceless Man needs to tell us about his little experiences. He keeps saying, so I hear. But I mean, he seems very knowledgeable in these matters.
Yeah, he does. So I hear. Right.
Listen, I know there are women who like that. I come across women all the time when I'm discussing sex with women. They like that. They enjoy all of that. I'm just saying I'm a woman who does not.
Okay.
You know, I prefer to hear you like this girl, don't you?
So, you know, when you bring two worlds together, they collide and then they merge and integrate just like that in a slow motion. And now there's no differentiation between the two. This hand is pain, this hand is pleasure, and they come together just like that. And they don't want to leave because they like what's happening.
Listen, I get that.
You're kind of bouncing in that seat. I think you understand exactly what
I'm cold. I am cold right now.
Really? Let me see.
See what? I'm cold and I'm trying to like get myself warm up. But I get that. I get that pain and pleasure exists for people. And it's to the point where the pleasure overtakes the pain. That's why I think a lot the people who engage in BDSM, they engage in it. You know, that's why women want certain things that stimulates them. So the hair pulling, the neck choking or spanking, all of that stimulates you. But when some people I just do not like pain.
So this woman, she started saying, I highly recommend starting with dirty talk and sexting, right? So and someone said that, have a woman text you these things. Right now you have a record of it, right? Sexting prior to doing anything in the sexual setting, says Gene. See, dirty talk and sexting before you do something in a sexual setting. You may not know how you will react to a certain scenario or phrase in the heat of the moment. Better not to leave it to chance and use this time to test waters and figure out likes and dislikes. So right up front, you would know, don't call me a bitch, don't call me a slut, I'm not a whore. So that would be understood, right? So how would a guy know that, right? So guys would know it about you if they came to YouTube and chill. They'd know these things. And if other ladies came here and voiced, they'd be able to tell us the same, how they feel about it.
Right.
Additionally, BDSM is about pushing your limits. See, that's really what I'm getting at. Not passing the limits, is pushing them. In all forms of sexual activity, your comfort, consent, and pleasure are crucial. What are the goals for each of you in this BDSM relationship? Is it habitual? Are you both aware of each other's boundaries and intentions? Have you communicated your needs before and after play or scenes? Advises Gene. There are many aspects to consider, therefore you dive headfirst into a power dynamic relationship. You hear that? See, a power dynamic. The control or lack of control can be intoxicating, but it comes with responsibility. As always, active consent is the key ingredient in participating in any type of sexual activity. Before getting down to it, openly discuss boundaries and intentions with your partner. All BDSM is based on this very important concept of consent. Skipping the consent discussion means you risk doing significant harm to others and to themselves. So, whether you are considering exploring kink or dipping a toe into the world of BDSM for the first time, or have a go-to safe word, entering the arena of pain and pleasure can be both sexy and healthy, as long as all partners are on the same page and willing and able to provide their active consent. There's nothing wrong with experimenting as a sub or a dom.
Okay.
The end. So it's a way of experimenting, pushing your body beyond your known limits. Not you don't have to cross them. It's not about haphazardly and recklessly just exploring. It's about pushing boundaries. I'm sorry that pushing boundaries bores you.
No, it's not. I'm tired. I had a long day. I didn't go to bed till late.
Well, it seems like you should go to bed earlier. Looks like going to bed late is not in the cards for you.
I'm a night owl. I know I need to do better with my sleep regimen, but I get it. It makes perfect sense when you think about it, and you think about the people who engage in it. They're very responsible, it seems. I mean, you don't hear all these stories about how people are dying from BDSM.
Well, it happens. You just don't hear about it. That's why I was telling you about New York. It did happen. It happens.
You don't hear it so much to where it's like, oh my gosh, this is so dangerous. You shouldn't be doing it.
Correct.
You just need to be responsible. And it seems for the most part, partners are responsible and they're all willing. So it's a consensual act between two emotionally mature adults. I guess I'm not that emotionally mature.
Well, see, you've allowed yourself to take a step into that pathway. You haven't taken a long journey down the path, but you've stepped into it.
I have a question. So is anal sex part of BDSM?
That's a good question.
That's a painful act.
Hey, Alex Garcia, you wasn't ready for that topic. Here we are, a little BDSM, and now we're about to talk about the back door.
Oh goodness gracious! Yeah, so is anal sex a part of
maybe for some women, if they feel pain? What I hear, for some women, it's more intense.
It is, but still, it's a painful act. I think anal sex probably derived from BDSM because it was not a
natural
sexual position.
So what you see, okay, if it's more intense and it's painful and a woman can receive pleasure at the same time, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The merger between pain and pleasure.
For me, pain never went away though. It just never went away. Like it didn't stop. It was just, I'm just gonna ride this out because I'm not a quitter. But
take one for the team. Let's go champ. You know, rah, rah, rah.
Like I was gonna ride this out, take one for the team, and after this is done, I'm not doing this again. So
And you find yourself doing it again, saying this is so intense.
no, no, no,
No?
no. Already know. Been there, done that. Wore a t-shirt. Not interested in trying it again.
Okay. I think it's best without a t-shirt though.
It's best without clothes altogether, but I'm not wearing that t-shirt again.
Okay.
So Faceless Man said he wouldn't partake. So are you saying you don't do anal? So a lot of straight heterosexual men, turns out they won't partake in anal. Meaning, I'm not saying the man gets pegged. I'm saying the man is in a dominant position over the
Right, he
woman.
penetrates a woman, right? You know why? Because the vagina feels much better, and yeah.
I've heard men say otherwise. So your preference is vagina.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You've engaged in backdoor action, but you prefer vagina.
Yeah, and only engaged because it was at a woman's request.
Okay. Did you not enjoy it because of her, or did you not enjoy it because
Oh,
it was
it was like it's it's just not a thrill for me. See, but let me tell you this. The fact that a woman would be open to it, it says something about her openness and sexual availability.
yes, she's open, all right.
So not needing to engage in that, just knowing that.
But that's kind of dumb to say, oh, I'm open to something I really don't like.
No, no. The woman says,
Hoping that he's gonna.
no. The woman says, I'm available. I would do it. I would try it. Right. So it's knowing that your partner is free and open enough to explore things with you. That's the part.
Well, I mean, if they already tried it, what's left to explore?
I understand. See, exactly, Alex.
This is Alexis, or is this
Alexis.
Okay. It's all in their head and about domination. I know she let you. Wait a minute. Know that she to let you is hot, but now I'm good. Okay.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Right. Knowing that she's available, that she's open and available to that.
And then while y'all saying nah, then one day during a little drunken spill, you decide to go ahead and try it, and then what? But if somebody's already experienced something, explored something, what's the point in exploring it all over again?
Hey, look, if she's open and available to it, that's what Faceless Man is getting. I mean, I don't know how to express that more. Knowing that your partner is
I get that, but when you've explored something and you realize, yeah, I don't like it. I mean, what you're so because I'm really into this man, I'll try it with him.
right.
Okay, I mean,
I'm into you. So just this is outside of the. Yeah, never mind. Just forget it. That's too
no, nope. You started. Keep going. Let's go. It's YouTube and chill where we talk about sex, all things sex. So let it out.
Well, actually, this is the opposite of letting it out. It's letting it in. So.
Okay. Oh goodness. All right. Well, let us know.
See, it's like her saying, "You can have me any way you want." That
I get it, and I think if a guy gives me his credit access to his credit card or accounts and say you can spend any way you like,
yeah,
I can be very open to.
I think that's why a woman's money doesn't mean anything to a guy, because what a man wants is the woman.
Exactly, but I'm just saying, like, I get it. Like it's vulnerability. Is it? I get it, so I can see how that would be appealing. Because if a guy says, "Here's my credit card, you have access to my accounts and spend it any way you want," I'm not gonna do it. But the thought that he is thinking of me in that way, so yeah, I get it. I get it. So from
We may never do that with her unless she says,
right,
"Hey, you know, I really I want to
right,
try it with you." And it's then we know that that's really all about intimacy, and you know, and I guess it would teeter on some level of BDSM because if it's something that a woman finds painful, then if you really you care for her, you want to take care of her, you want to make sure she's not being hurt in this
now,
act.
well, through anal sex, you can really invoke some BDSM pain. I
Right,
mean,
but you don't want to do that. You want to make sure she's cared for. So there's a level of intimacy and caring and responsiveness.
right, but let's not get off track as to what you were supposed to be saying, because I didn't forget about that.
Okay. So upon entry, so in you can know.
Are we talking about vagina
Yeah,
or
no, in vagina. So a man can know that a woman is completely into him, uh, exceptionally vulnerable, just by the fullness, for I don't know what other words to use, and I guess if she's that excited, there'll be enough blood. There'll probably be an extra amount of blood in her vaginal walls that fills them out. And when they are that full, you know that this woman is really into you and excited about you
she's completely turned on?
completely. And it's all about you. It's not your credit cards. It is about 100% you, the man.
Yeah, yeah, no, listen.
No. This is
There
not
are
about.
several ways that
You
you
can
can
listen. You can be turned on and like he trusts me. What I'm talking about when she is into you.
your credit
It's like no. Listen. You'll hear women say, "That guy treated me like I was the only woman in the world." Right, and there is a way for a woman to be with a man the same way.
Okay. Hmm.
So BDMSM without physical pain. What is? Well, that's uh, yeah, that's what do they call that? Like where they humiliate a woman. I've seen some of that. So there's no physical pain.
What do you mean they humiliate her?
Public they engage they'll I've seen them engage in public humiliation with women.
Okay. Where they're basically subservient. Okay.
Yeah, right. It is, but it's humiliating though. They'll make those women do anything.
Yeah, being subservient is humiliating.
I don't know why women say that.
I
Maybe
know what being subservient is humiliating. It's akin to being a slave. So that's why.
subservient is humiliating. Why?
Because it's akin to being a slave.
So is that what gets in the way for women being vulnerable with a man?
Yes. Depends on the man. Because when you look at the definition of subservience, it's obeying someone without unquestioningly. So you don't get a say. You don't get a say in how you're being treated. You don't get a say in what's going on with you. So yeah.
So Faceless Man is talking about that. Remember that married couple where the woman, I said the woman led him on how to lead her, and he punished her for not washing the dishes and stuff like that.
Yes, she
That's
taught.
what I think. That's what he's talking about. Tells her when to go to bed, what to eat. Right.
But that's not. That's a weird situation because she's actually the one in control. Like, I guess.
Well, if
Saying okay,
right,
like so, pleasure off of being in that subservient position. So it's like BDSM, but I don't know if that's called BDSM.
no, it's dominant. It is. See, but that's see. See, people only think of BDMSM as only this physical pain and chains, and there's so much. That's why even piercing is part of that world.
But pain is part of that definition. When you look at
I
BDSM,
understand.
pain is part of that. So the fact that there's just dominance in this.
Dominant and a subservient. There's a
Right.
that's BDMSM includes a dominant and a subservient.
But BDSM is just not about dominance and submission. No, she's subservient. BDSM is dominant and submission. Bondage, dominance, submission.
I understand.
Sadism and masochism. That's what that stands for.
It is the people who are into that life, they understand that it's bondage, discipline, dominance, submissive, and you have sadomasochistic. But there is dominance and subservient. That is part of it.
That's part of that, but all they have, the only elements they have is dominance and subservient. Her being subservient.
It's still part of BDMS.
Okay.
It's still part of it. It's still the people. Listen, the people who practice this will tell you that is still part of BDMSM because there's a dominant and a subservient, like this, a sub and a dom, subservient and a dominant. It's still very much a part of it. It's people just they're fixated on well, BDMSM is only about this, and it's not. It's a much broader.
But it's like when BDSM is BDSM because you have all four of those components. That's what makes BDSM. If you didn't have all four of those components.
No, that's not correct. That is not correct. You do not need all of those components. It's a broad term and it includes those and is not limited to. The people who practice this as a lifestyle, they are the ones who say that.
Yeah, and I haven't seen anyone who
I got it, but it's
where all four of those are components. Without all four of those being components, you just have kinky sex. You're just into some little kink. These people that this couple that you're describing I think that's just something different. That is
no, it's actually part of the BDSM world.
Okay.
Because it's dominant and it's subservient.
You know what? I'm gonna find a BDSM group on Facebook and I'm gonna post up that video and see if they agree with what that is. If that's part of their
go to the people on YouTube who practice it as a lifestyle. They'll tell you.
Right. Well, it's easier to engage people in a group because I'll get a response back. But
the people who practice it and make videos, they will tell you that that's still part of it. See,
okay.
You're limiting. You're having it too constrained.
I'm not having it constrained. It's just that situation just seems completely different. There is nothing sexual about that, and BDSM deals with sex.
Okay, so now let me get this. When I was 19, I met a 32-year-old woman who was an actual dominatrix. She was a dominant. And she said something very interesting. She said, a lot of these women claim they are freaks. She said the real freaks work down on Wall Street. So what Faceless Man is talking about, CEO and PhD women, this woman explained to me that, and when she first said, I didn't even know what she was talking about. I was 19. I couldn't even spell dominatrix. I don't even think I had heard of the word. So she told me about this. And she said there are men who do not want to have sex. They want to be fully dominated. And she said these are men who are power brokers on Wall Street. They are making major decisions on a global scale, and they have their, let's say, their good wife, and they go home to their wholesome wife, but they want something that they would never ask their wife to do. And they want a woman who will not have sex, just a woman who will completely dominate, administer pain, and they get absolute pleasure. She said it's like their release, because they are so dominant in the workplace, and it has nothing to do with sex.
And they go home and then they either beat off or they have sex with their wives.
Whatever, she didn't get into what they do when they
when I said sex, I wasn't talking about having sex with the other person per se, but there is a level of sex to it, sexual, even if it's just sexual arousal. It's
correct.
You're sexually aroused. You may not have sex with that person, but then after you're done, you're either going to beat off or you're going to have sex with your partner. What this couple has shown is that
listen, that's actually irrelevant, because they are asking someone to participate with them, and they only called it S&M back then, sadist and masochist. That's that. And sadism and masochism could include being tied up and not. It could include sex and not. So it doesn't have to include all these components. It could include the woman speaking in a humiliating way to the man, and it may not. It's like the article said. It's consensual, and you have to understand the terms in the agreement. This woman was the real deal dominatrix. This was not someone. And she actually knew Grace Jones personally, and she said Grace Jones was another woman who was heavy into that.
I am not disputing what you're saying, but
what I'm getting at is I found it interesting, because I dated this woman, and at my mind, as she explained this to me, I made an assumption that any woman who dominated men like that was a woman who, and I knew nothing about hair pulling and I didn't know anything about that world. She's the one who told me that piercings was part of that whole S&M world. But I assumed a woman who was accustomed to dominating men, and she did have that kind of bull in a ring mentality, and still feminine, hair down to her ass. And I assumed a woman like that would ultimately be looking for a man that she could never dominate in her life. And
but there's a reason why the term went from just being S&M to BDSM. They include all those things.
I know, but S&M included that. All of those things were included.
Again, there is a reason why the term went from just S&M to BDSM, because they wanted to differentiate between BDSM and SM, because those are two completely different lifestyles. And they wanted to make sure that those are two completely different lifestyles.
Well, for the people who participated in that, it included, they were, you could say, fluent in all of those things. And depending on who they were with, see, it's just like the married couple where the man some people take just this portion of it. That's all they want from it. And it's still part of it. They don't have to do everything just to be living that lifestyle. They take the portions the portions that give them pleasure are the ones that they take. That's it.
Okay.
They don't have to do all of them. I mean, the reason I know about those underground meat packing is this woman told me all about these things. I mean, she was part of that lifestyle. Before meeting her, I knew nothing about. I didn't know that world existed.
So, did you engage a little bit?
No, see, that's why you were not listening. I knew that any woman who had that kind of dominance with a man as a lifestyle was looking for a man she could never dominate.
I didn't. What does looking for a man have to do with you engaging in the kink?
So when in the bedroom, I was completely domineering. Out of the bedroom, I never took it out of the bedroom.
Okay, what I'm saying is, did you engage in BDSM? I don't care if you were the dominant and she was the dominant. I'm just asking, did y'all have a little fun?
Probably not in the sense that you're thinking. Only in the sense of hair pulling and slapping. That's only in the sense that you've said. What? Okay. Not in handcuffs and not into any. Because I didn't care about that. I only did it because my assumption, because of the assumption I had that she ultimately would want to be dominated by a man.
Okay. So you dominated her, but not completely.
During sex, I did completely.
No, not in the way that I'm thinking, because I'm thinking, you dominated her in the way that she dominated men. But you're saying you didn't do that.
No, I didn't. Okay. That wouldn't have. That's not, at least then and even now, that's not something that's like pleasurable. I don't need to do that. I like using my, and maybe that's part of the reason I work out. I like using my physical body to communicate the same thing, to get the same point across.
That's the reason you work out, huh? That's okay. I see you. You know what? Why don't you show us what you're working with?
So I used to actually have a piercing.
We can't see anything. Like what is that?
I just showed it to you.
You didn't show us anything. We saw.
I have to show you. Oh, you can see it right through my shirt. Look at that.
Can't see any piercings.
Well, I don't have any anymore.
So what you showing us?
I was the only person walking around with that thing.
What are you showing us? I don't need to see. I want to see, take the jacket off, take the shirt off.
Take the shirt off?
Yes.
I think they'll close down the channel.
That's all right.
Hey, I just realized we both have on a white top, we didn't get dressed together, just for the record.
I don't have on a top. I have on a dress.
Okay. Well, I didn't know the difference.
Yeah, this is a dress.
Okay. Well, you have snow-packed mountains, so.
And you have snow-packed mountains too. I see. Yeah. I see.
What?
I can see what you're working with, but I need to see more. That's why I want you to take the shirt off, take the jacket and the shirt off. Like, seriously?
Can you see that?
No, I can't see anything. You got to take the jacket off.
Terrible news, man.
And I'm going to start putting on a sackcloth for real.
Okay.
Be covered up to get me a burqa. That's what I'm going to get, a burqa.
To right here.
Yeah.
It's black.
No, I want a white one probably. No, but just up to here. Yeah, get a burqa.
You only need to be seen from right here. I've seen them in New York.
Yeah, but I don't want to wear all that.
You know what the kind of crazy? I was in Central Park and I saw a woman, and all she did, she was running. She had on these tight shorts and a form-fitting t-shirt, and then she had on the top. All you could not see her eyes. I didn't understand the point. Like, what was the sense of hiding yourself?
Because of her religion, probably.
Right. It was so. But
What the? Oh.
she hid her face. The rest of her body was. She was wearing tight shorts and running. I mean, she was. You could see she was a runner. She was running at a good pace. So anyway, we got sidetracked with that. So after hearing some of these things about the BDMS, and I know you like to try and make things your own. BDSM. Would you allow yourself to go a little bit beyond your normal boundaries?
No.
Why not?
I've already been there. I was married, so I already know that I don't. There are things that I don't like. So,
what if there are things you don't know about? Would you allow yourself to get pushed beyond your normal edge?
No.
Really?
Really.
Why is that?
Because I don't. Why? Why do I need to? That's not sex to me. I don't need that for sex. So.
Okay. What's the intimacy, right?
You can build intimacy without doing all that kinky stuff. We talked about this before already.
Okay. So just a little biting, a little pulling.
Listen, you know what? I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, if a guy could be everything that I desire, everything that I want, and he's giving me everything that I want, then yeah, I would probably more likely be open to giving him everything that he wants.
This was the whole point, and Faceless Man understood what I was saying. That's exactly it.
I get it, but I'm like, yeah, if I met that guy, sure, absolutely. What? What?
Alexis said that wasn't a real no.
Real no, that I wouldn't try. No, I mean, because I had to rethink. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, the guy has everything that I want, and he's giving me everything that I want and desire, and I mean everything that I want. Then yeah, I can see him. I will definitely be open, completely open and vulnerable, and open to giving him everything that he wants and desires.
So it's a trade.
It's a what?
A trade. If you give me this, I'll give you that.
Negotiation, yes.
Okay. Is that like a transaction?
Who is P? I think PJ is somebody we know in straight talk, really. Because PJ is something.
Hey, which country are you in, PJ?
I think PJ is somebody whose name starts with an R and then ends with an S. But not the one that I had to stop speaking to altogether.
Because Alexis said your mouth said no, your body language said yes.
Again, I had to rethink it. Like the words were coming out of my mouth, and then in my head, I had a picture of something else. So I had to recorrect and was like, yeah, I mean, if I'm getting everything that I want, I can't be selfish to my husband and not give him everything that he wants and not be open and be, you know.
So now you guys, you understand why being a caveman serves in your best interest. You just push to the edge and she'll love it there.
It's not just about pushing to the edge. I'm really thinking, like, in a marriage, if my husband is giving me everything that I want, I mean everything that I want, and I'm not thinking sex or bed romantics. So, but if he's giving me everything that I want, then yeah.
See, that's what PJ is from England. I knew that. He uses certain words that are not used in the U.S. Language tells you a lot about people.
It does.
And just like Alexis caught your language, you spoke 2 languages.
He or she
Your mouth said no and your body said yes.
Well, yeah, and I caught that myself, and that's why I changed what I was saying, because I knew that the words that were coming out of my mouth did not match what I was actually thinking in my head. So
yeah, everyone picked that up. That's why guys can't be afraid to push the limit. Ladies appreciate being pushed beyond their normal boundaries.
yeah, no, okay. I mean, you
Yeah, even intellectually, absolutely.
to an extent. I mean, if you keep pushing.
Oh, let's talk about quantum physics.
Go ahead, but I will not have anything to contribute. That is not my level of expertise. I have no clue what you're talking about. And no, I wouldn't be
We
interested.
can make quantum physics fit into the world of BDSM, technically.
I know nothing about quantum physics, so I can't say one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't know. You'd enjoy it.
I don't enjoy BDSM, so I don't see how I would enjoy quantum physics unless you're talking about it during sex.
No, listen. Technically, you enjoy, just like they have porn and hardcore porn, and then they have soft porn. You enjoy soft BDSM.
Okay.
Right, exactly. Faye. Yeah, right. Some ladies will resent you for not if they leave the door open. Right.
Yeah, I believe that is because a lot of women are emotionally immature and they can't really articulate or communicate what it is they want, don't want, like, and don't like. So they like to play little games. Um, and they want you to read their mind and they expect you to know what it is that they really want, even though they can't verbalize it themselves. I'm not that way. I'm going to tell you. I have no problem with communication. I have no problem with telling you what it is I want and don't want. And so there is no need to play them games with me.
Well, and sometimes a woman has never experienced it, so she doesn't know. And then, listen, and then there are things that a woman may have experienced with another man, and he may have been less skilled at it, and she didn't have the best experience, and another man can show her a whole nother world. See, and that's what when Faceless Man was saying, don't need to have anal sex except if she's open and available to it. So that's really what it comes down to when we're talking about sex. You know, when a man is looking at his lover, his woman, is she open and available to experience things with him that she hasn't? And if she's going down a list of been there, done that, not doing this, not doing that, it's like, well, wow. I mean,
I'm boring and
listen. And it's why a man would say, you know what, I'd rather find a virgin because she can't say been there and done that.
That's fine. I would tell them, look, I'm boring in bed. According to what's out there and what people are doing, I'm boring. I have other qualities and attributes that can overlook that. But if you can't get past that, then I don't know what to tell you, because I'm not trying to be all. Listen, I'm too old, basically, to be hanging from chandeliers and cuffed up and whipped up and all that extra stuff, bending it over like Beckham. I don't have time for all of that.
Well, you like soft BDSM. You do. It's like soft porn.
I prefer that intimacy, that closeness, that contact.
Did you not hear the article I read that BDSM is all about intimacy, communication?
I don't need that. I don't need that type of intimacy. I just need that intimacy when we're skin to skin. We're caressing on one another. We're loving on one another. We're taking our time with one another. And there's no pain involved. I don't need that type of intimacy where pain has to be inflicted. No, uno momento, nothing. Nada.
1 minute. That's it. 1 minute, man. Is that what you're talking about?
talking about?
No, I'm saying just a little bit of pain. You're saying, well, 1 minute. Oh, so you're saying 1 minute of pain you can take.
No, I can't even take 1 minute of pain. That's what I was saying. Not even
But
one
you
minute.
can have a baby. Yeah, men have a hard time here.
That's because I didn't know what pain was until I had a baby. That's why I only have one kid. That's why I only have one child, and she is 20 years old. And so, no.
So I would think that even a man sliding his penis down a woman's throat until snot comes out of her nose, that's got to be some form of BDSM. Tears coming out of her eyes. She's
So I would think so. But let's face it, a lot of men don't have the equipment to slam their penis down a woman's throat and cause tears and snot to start forming.
yeah. If he's only working with that, if she's only working with that, she'll just make it disappear like it was never there.
I mean,
she'll be a magician. She'll say, "Now you see it, now you don't." Look at that.
She's not even gonna have a gag reflex with 4 inches. Faceless man, was that your preference in your 20s also? Early 20s, I mean, of course, since you're still in them. No, I'm far from my 20s, but thank you.
He's in his 20s.
Yeah, he's in his 20s. He's quite young. My preference in my 20s was still the same, but I was married and my ex-husband was, I was open to being adventurous with him because we were both figuring out sex together, basically. Like, he was the first man that I've had a vaginal orgasm with. So I was open to being with him. Loved him, was in love with him. But yeah, I pretty much was pretty, not, I mean, I'm spontaneous in other ways, but, with young men, they want to try everything that they're seeing in other medias. So yeah, we tried a couple things and it was like, no. I'm good.
I think people are experimenting and exploring more with sex in the U.S. But see, the thing that I really give BDSM credit for is the kind of communication that you need to have that, and there's still a lot of care in it. People may not see it that way. What you really, a person will not participate with you generally if there isn't that level of care there, because it's too much at risk.
That's true, but you don't need BDSM to have intimacy, to have care.
Okay, where did anyone say that? I'm saying that it's
trying to correlate.
I think it's mischaracterized as is this cold, heartless, I'm just gonna beat you and cause.
I don't think a lot of people think that. I think a lot of people just think it's weird. It's just weird. Why do you need all that?
Why do you think it's weird?
Because why do you need all that to have sex? Like, why do you need all that? Like, most people engage in regular sex without pain. I mean, everybody has their level of kink, but BDSM is just, goodness gracious, that's a whole other level right there. That's just not regular sex.
Well, like Lisa Simmons talked about an article she read. It could have childhood. It could be the result of childhood impact, right?
Right, but still, people who are not engaging in that, they're not looking at it like, oh, this is just abusive. Some far out there, probably feminist thinker is probably thinking that, but for the most part, people are just thinking that it's just weird. Like, I don't need all that. Okay, I could do the candle wax. I could do the choke.
You're adding stuff.
I'm saying what people do, what they'll do.
Oh, I thought you were saying you can do the candle wax.
No, I'm saying no. They can do the candle wax. Can do the. You could tie me up. You can spank me, pull hair, choking, but that's as far as they'll go.
Well, you know, you may not even feel the candle wax during sexual intercourse.
I think that's true.
It would just heighten like senses in certain areas.
For people who enjoy pain during sex, I think that is true. That's why they engage in it. It's the pain starts to turn into pleasure.
Well, and so remember, we talked about making love, fucking, and making love, and you merge them into one. We don't even, maybe there's not really a word for that. So you have the intimacy,
Fluffing.
making love, and then you have the animalistic side of fucking, and you put caring, loving intimacy into animalistic fucking.
So you have fluffing is what you want to call it, fluffing.
Yeah, I mean that's a decent attempt, but there's probably there's probably some other word that can bring it because there if you do that, right, so time and space disappear, pain and pleasure they disappear, and you don't know the difference.
Okay, so
and so it's a kind of getting so lost into one another that making love and fucking become indistinguishable. They are just one, and you're just enjoying it.
Listen, it happens. It does when you get to that raw, that passion. You're starting off with the foreplay, the kissing, and the touching, and then you engage in sexual intercourse, and then you're so in tune with one another that it just becomes very raw and passionate. Yeah, it happens. But okay.
Well, that's how BDSM can actually have pleasure to it. It's the same idea.
Except BDSM engages in pain.
Well, if you get your uterus straightened up.
Not straighten my uterus out.
That is Symbol. What's going on? Thanks for joining.
Especially if a man has a 4-inch, he's not straightening out any type of anyone's uterus.
Where's my toolbox?
It's not going to fit in anybody's toolbox.
Sure, it'll get lost in the toolbox.
I can't say it'll get lost. Depending on the woman, because if she's, tight, darn near virgin, she's going to be able to feel that. And plus, 4 inches is perfect for reaching the G spot.
How do you feel about the G spot?
What do you mean? How do I feel about the G spot? It's overwhelming. I will say it is overwhelming to have your G spot touched.
Okay.
Because it's a sensation that you are not used to. And
do you think you can get used to it? Do you think you, plural, can get used to that?
I don't know. That's too much pleasure. And sometimes too much pleasure can become painful. So, too much pleasure.
Someone, Lisa, are you still in this? I need another woman to help me because I don't even understand that.
Too much pleasure becomes painful. That's the same thing as a woman continuously having orgasms and they're not stopping. It becomes painful. Too much pleasure can become painful. Your body can't handle it.
We move to a different planet. I have no idea what you're talking about now.
Well, of course, because you're not a man. I mean, you're not a woman. I'm sorry. My bad.
How can too much pleasure become painful?
Too much pleasure can, just like pain can become pleasure, pleasure can become painful.
How?
You ever had someone step on your back, like walking on your back, helping you crack your back? And then it feels great. And then they make one wrong move and now you're in a lot of pain. It's excruciating.
They just made a wrong move. But if you keep on the same path, she comes again and again and again and again and again.
Too much. There's been documentaries done on women who have orgasm continuously over a course of 24 hours or more, and it becomes painful. Men can't comprehend that because orgasms are wonderful, they feel great, but no, after a while your body signals this is too much.
Okay, so that's over 24 hours. What if it's
not,
within your
not even 24 hours. I said there were studies done. For me, after a certain amount of orgasms, I'm like, yeah, this is not feeling as great as it used to be, like it was at first.
in economics, they call that a diminishing marginal return, right? So if you like Big Macs, the first one you eat is really good. And then you get a second one and you really like it. Well, when you get to number 10, it's like, I don't really want to. Then the pleasure is diminishing for each additional Big Mac you eat.
Right.
So is that what you're saying?
Something like that, but you don't experience pain after you're eating so many Big Macs. You're just no longer
Well, you
experiencing.
could. Your stomach is stretched out. Sure.
Yeah.
Of course you can. You can. I've eaten so much that I couldn't even sit straight. I had to be in a recliner.
I'm glad when they bring me my food, I'm gonna have to cut my fasting.
So, okay. No, we're going to bring it to a close here. So you have any final thoughts? Any new perspectives, insights on this world of BDSM?
When I meet my husband, I will have to be open to try anything.
Is that something you had before today?
No.
No kidding, really?
Only with my ex-husband. But
No. But I mean, like what you just said, you would be open to try anything. Like it sounds like you're more open to exploring boundaries, not doing anything reckless, but pushing the boundaries. You're more open to pushing boundaries.
I would say not open. Yeah, open. I'm just gonna have myself be vulnerable. Be more open with my husband.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our show. YouTube Until was successful today.
No,
We got the word to come out voluntarily vulnerable. That's where you want to take. That's where you want to take her, guys. This is a great conversation. And you guys added really good perspective to it. But no, Letitia, really, I mean, so this is really a point about maybe relationships and people believing that they're static in a certain mindset and they can only do one thing. I mean, you just gave a great example that it's possible to be flexible and see things beyond how you originally saw yourself. So thank you.
You're welcome, but I don't think my future husband, if he's listening, understands what it's going to take to get me to that point. So are you ready?
Got it. Well, technically you're already there. You're just looking for a reason.
No, I'm not looking for a reason. I'm really, in my mind, I'm looking at it like, okay, I can't be closed off. I can't be closed off. I can't put these walls up. I can't put these barriers up if I'm expecting for my husband to give me everything that I want and desire.
Technically, you do want those walls in place.
Well, those walls, yes, but
you want them to be happy walls too.
Sure do, but for this sake, I'm talking about mental walls. Mental walls. I can't put mental walls up.
Oh. Okay. So
you're so, oh my goodness. You're incorrigible. I just shameless.
Don't you like that?
I hope everyone got a kick out of that.
Don't you like that?
I do, actually.
Put my glasses on just for you.
I know. They do something to me every time.
Mm.
They do something for me every time. I should wear them more often.
Really?
Yes.
I like the way you slide in that chair there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the way you're smiling, looking at me, smiling. Let's stop before we get in trouble.
Time to climb Mount Everest, everyone.
Is that what you're doing in your mind? Is that what you're
I'm gonna
picturing?
slide right to those mountaintops, snow-capped mountains. Look at them.
Well, I hope you can hold on without falling off.
Plenty to hold on to, isn't it?
Yes, there is.
Right. Practice a little BDSM while we're at it.
Oh gosh. You gotta take me shopping first. Now.
Right. So, guys, this is YouTube and Chill every Friday. And we talk about sex. I had no idea we were going to go down this path, but I think it was a good conversation to have. I think it is important to talk about sex in ways that we normally don't. It's so easy to have preconceived notions about so many things in life, and sex is a big one. I think as a nation, we need to open up, really pun intended, about sexuality and have more open adult conversations. So, Letitia, I appreciate that you are available to open and be playful and be serious and push beyond the edges and let me even say some of my outlandish or crazy things and not be offended and run for the mountains and say, oh my God, I can't, this is too much. I talked about straightening out your uterus, all right? Blood.
That's all right. I talked about your 4 inches you claim.
Right. You already wanted me in a rabbit suit, so.
Yeah, see? Wait. So you're not open to me putting you in a rabbit suit. All right, but I got to be open to you tying me up like a pretzel. Okay.
There's my ropes.
Whatever. Okay.
All right. So, everyone, have a great weekend. Love your support. I'll be back on. I'll be back. Do that again.
What?
Oh, you didn't even know you did it. There you go. All right. Be back Sunday. Straight talk. And we'll have a really good conversation about something that's really important. And we'll be back next Friday with some more YouTube and Chill. Until then, everyone, have a great weekend. Take care. Thanks, Letitia. You have a great weekend too.
You too.
And I'll talk to everyone later. Goodbye.